This happened about 2 years ago. I was driving back home from my girlfriend's apartment around 1:30 in the morning. It's about a 45-minute drive, mostly highway, and at that time of night, there's barely anyone on the road. About 20 minutes into the drive, I noticed something strange up ahead. At first, I thought it was a broken down car on the left shoulder. But as I got closer, I realized it wasn't on the shoulder. It was in the median. And it wasn't a car, it was a person. He was just standing there, completely still, in the strip of grass between the two directions of traffic. No hazard lights, no other vehicle nearby, no movement, just standing. I remember thinking maybe he had gotten into an accident and was disoriented, but there was no wreck, no debris, nothing. As I passed him, I slowed down slightly. I don't know why. Curiosity, I guess. That's when I saw his face. He wasn't looking at traffic. He wasn't looking around. He was staring directly at my car. Not at me, at my car. Like he had been waiting for it specifically. I felt this sudden, heavy pressure in my chest. It didn't make sense, but it felt personal. I kept driving. In my rearview mirror, I watched him. He didn't turn his head as I passed. He rotated his entire body slowly to keep facing my vehicle as it moved. That part is what bothered me the most. It wasn't natural. After about 10 seconds, I couldn't see him anymore. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe he was drunk. Maybe he was mentally unwell. But then something happened that I can't explain. About 5 minutes later, I noticed headlights behind me. That wasn't strange by itself, but they were extremely close. I hadn't seen a car merge onto the highway, and I hadn't passed anyone. The road had been empty. The car behind me stayed perfectly centered in my mirror. No attempt to pass. No change in distance. Just there, matching my speed exactly. For nearly 10 miles. Whenever I slightly sped up, it did too. Whenever I slowed down, it slowed down. I never saw the driver clearly. The interior was too dark. Right before my exit, I made a split-second decision not to take it. I don't know why. Something told me not to show where I lived. I stayed on the highway. The car stayed behind me. 2 exits later, I suddenly switched lanes and took an exit without signaling. The car didn't follow. It kept going straight. I pulled into a gas station and just sat there for a few minutes trying to calm down. When I finally got home, I checked local news the next day out of curiosity. There had been reports of someone walking along the highway median that night. But here's the part that unsettled me. The location reported wasn't where I saw him. It was nearly 15 miles ahead of where I passed him, and the time listed was 10 minutes after I saw him. I still drive that highway, but I never look at the median anymore. Last winter, I was driving home from a work trip. It was late, around 2 a.m., and I was exhausted. I decided to stop at a rest area about 30 miles from my town. It's one of those older ones. Dim lighting, a vending machine, 2 bathrooms, nothing else around for miles. There were only 2 other cars in the parking lot. One was a semi-truck. The other was a small sedan parked near the tree line. I stayed in my car for a minute, checking my phone, trying to wake myself up. That's when I noticed something odd. The sedan's interior light was on, but I couldn't see anyone inside. No movement, no silhouette, just the faint glow. I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe someone had left it on. I went inside, used the restroom, washed my hands. When I came back out, the parking lot felt different, quieter. The semi-truck was gone, and now the sedan's driver door was slightly open, just a few inches. Interior lights still on, no one visible. I froze for a second. There's a certain kind of silence that feels heavy. That's what it felt like. I walked quickly to my car and locked the doors. As I started the engine, I glanced one last time toward the sedan, and that's when I saw him. Not inside the car, behind it, standing between the sedan and the trees. He wasn't hiding, he was just standing there, looking directly at me. He didn't wave, didn't move, didn't blink, just watching. His expression wasn't angry. It wasn't neutral either. It was patient, like he had expected someone to notice. I pulled out immediately. As I drove past the exit of the rest area, I looked in my side mirror. He was walking. Not toward the building, not toward the car, toward the road. And for a split second, I had this overwhelming thought. What if the sedan wasn't broken down? What if it was bait? I don't stop at rest areas at night anymore. This happened about 6 months ago. I was driving through a rural stretch of road after visiting a friend. No streetlights, no houses, just miles of empty 2-lane highway. I remember checking the time, 12:47 a.m. I haven't seen another car for at least 15 minutes. No headlights in front of me, none behind me. It was just me. Then I saw brake lights up ahead. That startled me, because there hadn't been a car there before. It was just suddenly there, about a quarter mile in front of me, driving slowly, too slowly. I assumed maybe I just hadn't noticed it before, so I kept my distance, but the speed kept dropping. 45 miles per hour, then 35, then 25, on a road where the speed limit was 55. There was nowhere safe to pass. The road was narrow and winding. I flashed my high beams once, hoping they'd speed up. They didn't. Instead, they came to a complete stop, right in the middle of the road. I stopped about 50 feet behind them. No turn signal, no hazard lights, nothing, just stopped. After about 20 seconds, the driver's door opened, and someone stepped out. I couldn't see their face clearly, but I could tell they weren't in any hurry. They closed the door gently and started walking toward my car. Not running, not aggressive, just walking, calmly. My first instinct was that maybe they needed help, but something about the situation felt staged, deliberate. I reversed slowly. As soon as my brake lights shifted and my car moved backward, the person stopped walking, completely, just stood there, watching. I reversed farther, then turned awkwardly into a narrow dirt pull-off I had passed moments earlier. The second my car angled away, the person turned around, got back into their vehicle, and drove off. Not slowly this time. Fast. Within seconds, their taillights disappeared around the bend. I sat there for a long time before continuing. And here's the part I can't explain. When I finally drove forward again, there were no tire marks on the road where their car had stopped. The pavement was slightly dusty from nearby construction. My own tire marks were visible from reversing, but there were none from them. No sign they had ever been there. I still replay that night in my head sometimes, trying to figure out what the plan was, or what would have happened if I had stepped out of my car instead.